I'm going to ask Nurse Tenzen to come up. I understand she's here. I've not seen her in a few months. Come on up, Tenzen. And it just so happens that her husband is your vice president, who's here, who I didn't know when we first met that was the case. And yes, I got to know Nurse Tenzen during a period in which my son was hospitalized at Kaiser Oakland for 2 months with a very rare, life-threatening disease. And he has since received a stem cell transplant, and he's home doing well. And I think Tenzen represents the best of your culture. Right? And I was at that hospital every day for 2 months. And I remember one night, it may have been a Saturday night or Friday, or I remember I was there, she was on duty on the floor at Kaiser, and I was supposed to go to a Tibetan event that was being held over at the adult school in Berkeley. And she says, "You don't need to go, you need to be here with your son." And she says, "They'll excuse you." I think I remember that night. And she was saying, "You're here. That's what's important." And before I read the proclamation that I have from the county, my son, who wanted to be here but couldn't, wrote a note he wanted me to read to you. Okay, my son Christopher. My son's 33. He lives with me. He says, "I wanted to come today, but I am immunocompromised and must avoid crowded places during my recovery." And he is doing well. "You were a great nurse while I was undergoing my treatment at Kaiser Oakland. You were the nurse that administered my first dose of immunosuppressive therapy. I remember getting that dose of intravenous Benadryl and remembering how strong it felt, but then you calmed me, saying you have done this procedure hundreds of times. I remember getting a hives reaction the first night, and you had to check my whole body to document the reaction to the doctor. I remember you giving me ice cream to celebrate either my first or second night of immunosuppressive therapy. And then, even after you were no longer my assigned nurse, you would come in to check up on me and give me crackers and talk to my dad about Tibetan culture. One day you even made your own dumplings for me to have for dinner. I have heard that there is a shortage of nurses in the US, and it seems to make sense. It is a hard job where you must always be aware and be exposed to gravely sick people. The 7 weeks that I was at Kaiser were probably the hardest of my life. Even though the nurses are not sick themselves, I wonder how a nurse can work there for years on without getting exhausted. Thank you again for your work at Kaiser Oakland." I'm glad I got to read that. And so I have a proclamation just saying, in recognition of her dedicated, compassionate, and professional services as a nurse at Kaiser Oakland in Oakland, caring for patients facing cancer and other serious illnesses, Nurse Tenzen consistently goes above and beyond her regular responsibilities, offering skilled care, steadfast advocacy, and heartfelt support to patients and their family members. Her commitment to healing, dignity, and hope reflects the highest ideals of the nursing profession and strengthens the health and well-being of our community. And we recognize and appreciate you, Nurse Tenzen, on behalf of Contra Costa County. You know, we all can appreciate in the abstract great things about culture, including Tibetan culture, but I thought it was important to recognize you as an example individually of what I'm sure many of you do in your daily lives, right? This is not about just one person, although we are honoring Tenzen, but all of you in your daily lives who may do this every day among your family